I'm still getting tons of questions about the rocks in my tank, and so I thought I'd do a really complete video reviewing where I get the rocks, what kind of rocks they are, and how I get the algae to grow on them. So the first thing is, these rocks are from a landscaping supply company in my city, but they're actually pulled out of mountains which are right near my house. So this rock is called Rundle Stone, and the company that pulls it out is called Thunderstone Quarries. And it's sold by just a local landscape supply company near my house. So readily available, and I'll go later in the video, I'll tell you about how I grow the algae on it. So I source these rocks from that landscape supply company, and I have a trick. And I'll show you my trick about how to get stuff for cheaper from your landscape supply company. So the way to get rocks for considerably cheaper is going to the right area. This is the giant pile of Rundle Stone here in my local landscape supply company. And these giant boulders are about 10 cents a pound. But if you go into the other area where they have the perfectly shaped smaller size rocks, the price can go up to 60 cents a pound because they've been broken down to really nice sizes for masons who do rock walls and stuff. So what I do is I go to the section with the giant boulders and I look for pieces that have broken off that are manageable for me. So I back up my car to the section that's 10 cents a pound. I grab some rocks that are manageable and I throw them in my car, and I get them for, sometimes 1/10 the price. So here you can see these rocks. I think I paid 20 bucks and it was 200 pounds of rock. So keep that pro tip in mind if you're going to go to the quarry and get rock. Try to find it at the cheapest price and look for little broken off pieces. I've had a lot of people ask me about the algae and the rocks I have in my tanks. So the first thing that I utilize, and probably the only thing, is direct light. As you can see here on this tank, I have some dysfunctional Aqueon Opti Brights, but I also have my secret weapon here, which is a cheap, super bright LED light that I got on Amazon. I think this was 20 bucks and it's 15 watt. Joey Mullen, the king of DIY, actually showed me where and how to get these in Canada. They're awesome. And so I have it in the center of my tank, and it's on an angle, and the light is focusing directly on this rock. And as you can see, this tank is only a couple weeks old, but I'm starting to get algae on it. And these Pseudotropheus celosi are actually starting to nibble on it. And there it is on another rock. The other thing is the type of rock and the type of water I have. You'll have to forgive me because this is really speculative and I can't really substantiate it. But I think that the reason why algae grows so well on my rocks and doesn't grow on my glass and substrate is because these rocks are found right near my home. And so there's probably something about the mineralization or the composition of the rocks that suits the algae spores that are floating around in my air that, invariably inhabit my tank from the air. There's something to their relationship. And it might be because they always live close together. These rocks aren't from Texas or from the Amazon, which is absolutely nowhere near my house. These are from my backyard, and I wonder if there's something to that. The other thing I'll say purely speculatively is that I only use LED lights, and LEDs are designed in a way to be very, very directional. And so because the light is directional, I wonder if maybe I'll show you from this. I'm having a hard time articulating this, but if you can imagine the light coming off this LED fixture here, I think that it's really directional, and it focuses on the middle of the tank here on my fish, and it doesn't necessarily spread out all over the place. And I think that's how my rocks gain a lot of algae, but my glass and substrate don't. But you would say, well, your sand right here between your rocks is under that direct beam of LED light, and I'd say that's true. So why do the rocks concentrate algae but the substrate doesn't? And I think that's how I got to the conclusion of it must be the chemical relationship between the algae and the rocks that I'm using. So yeah, if you are looking at trying to do something in the way of concentrating algae on your rocks, I think this is really good for the Mbunas and the Tropheus that I'm keeping, because they're primarily herbivorous and love to pick algae off the rocks. I would suggest trying some LED system and trying to focus your light on your rocks and avoiding other things like your glass and seeing how that goes. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and as always, if you have any comments or questions on the video, leave them in the comments. I love to interact with you guys. Have yourselves a great day.